White, vanilla ice, spill the beans and rice. I'm eating you alive inside. Jesus Christ.
Eminem and Benzino are beefing again for some reason. And initially thought this was just a publicity stunt to maybe hype up an unlikely collaboration between Eminem and Benzino's daughter, Coi Leray. Or it could maybe be linked to the Busta Rhymes stuff. So basically Benzino accused of improper behaviour to his daughter. That's the only time, they're the only things that make any sense. Otherwise, I'm maybe just starting to think that these cunts just generally hate each other. They just actually hate each other. Eminem buried Benzino, his career, and his magazine, The Source, around 20 years ago. Now, since then, apart from the odd mention and a throwaway line, Eminem seemed to have mostly moved on with his life, while Benzino continued to speak about Eminem at seemingly every opportunity. It could be that the beef with Eminem is truly the most interesting thing that has ever happened in his career. It could be that the journalist's fault for always asking him about it. You know, if you're going to get an interview with Benzino, you would have to bring it up, wouldn't you? The feud originally seems to stem from the fact that The Source never gave Eminem a 5 stars or 5 microphones rating for his first couple of albums. And then The Source also leaked demos from a teenage Marshall Mathers where he used racist language when discussing a bad breakup. And then the diss tracks went back and forth, with Eminem undoubtedly, in my opinion, taking the crown with tracks such as The Sauce and especially Nail in the Coffin.
That much of a gangster, put the mic down. You should be out killing motherfuckers right now. Kill a motherfucker dead, kill him dead, bitch. Shoot him in the fucking head. Go ahead, bitch, slap my mom. Slap the fuck out of her. She can't sue you, she wouldn't get a buck out of you.
You know, he's made multiple responses, he's made loads of songs, but none of them really seem to go anywhere. So why is this feud being reignited 20 years later? Nobody knows. Any ideas? It seems like Eminem just woke up and decided, I'm going to bam up Benzino today. So the Lyrical Lemonade mixtape, there's a song called Doomsday Part 2, and he spends a lot of that song just going at Benzino.
You mustn't laugh. Okay. What is the opposite of Benzino? What? A giraffe. Go with his neck, how the fuck is that? How can I go with something he doesn't have? Arms so short he can't even touch his hands when they're above his head doing jumping jacks. Sorry, I don't mean to upset you, Ben. When I talk about all the debt you in, I hear that you've been creeping on the low in them cheap hotels that they catch you in.
And then Benzino responded pretty quickly with not one but 2 songs, and I would say for the first time he seems to have drawn some blood. The first one, Vulturious.
Keep it a buck, you ain't tough. Your baby mom can get a bag like how Cassie did Puff. If they read your lyrics in the court like they did Young Thug. From the drugs, chopping her up, corpse in the trunk. You a punk, plan my funeral please. You shoot who? Square ain't even go circle the block for proof. And the truth,
it was nothing new and very brief. I think it's only a minute long, but he's flowing nicely over it. It's a decent beat. The standout thing is obviously the mention of Proof. Proof was Eminem's best friend and hype man, and he died tragically. So that was quite surprising that he would bring up Proof. And that alone is probably enough to get Eminem into writing mode. But before he could respond, Benzino doubled down with another and a far more brutal follow-up. A list of insults include a takedown of Shady Records, again with the racist stuff, and generally the fact that Eminem doesn't get out much.
So let's go down your stable. Gun left your label. Benny left your label. Khan left your label. Royce left your label. Joe Button left your label. Ortiz left your label. No crooked eye couldn't save you. Yellow open out there flopping. And where the hell Cassius at though? Heard from Obi Trice only twice and not a word from Stat Quo. With all them forced lines that you pitched them, Shady records sound like less of a name and more like a description.
Also take shots at almost everyone that Eminem is close with. Like, it'll be interesting to see how someone like Royce the 5'9" reacts to that. I'd expect him to jump in the booth and respond, and I would expect 50 Cent not to jump in the booth, but to probably troll him on Instagram. Now, is this going to hurt Eminem? Probably not in any great sense, but I think he really does need to respond, mainly due to the fact, A, that it seems to me like it was Eminem who reignited this, and secondly, it's the track has got some factual stuff on there that might be uncomfortable to deal with. And, I mean, the biggest surprise is that Benzino's track was any good at all, and I think we can all safely assume that ghostwriters were involved. If Benzino had responded like this years ago, then he may have had some kind of career rather than mostly be a punchline for the last couple of decades. Now, the biggest problem that Eminem has here is he surely said everything that has been said already. He's destroyed Benzino not once, but multiple times. So how can he drop a track that sounds fresh and brings new angles? Is Benzino even interesting enough to diss at this stage? Eminem already killed his career stone dead before. There isn't a lot of mileage in talking about how much of a success he is compared to Benzino. It's way too obvious. Eminem killed his career, therefore making Benzino the underdog. So he can't just rap about how he's more successful than Benzino. Everybody knows that Eminem's successful. Everybody knows that Benzino is not. How can it even be done in an entertaining way? But as Killshot proved, the Machine Gun Kelly diss from 5 years ago, when Eminem is backed into a corner, it makes him write better. It makes him write with the passion of a younger Slim Shady. And the only reason that he never properly responded to the game is because the game was blatantly trying to get more eyes on his album. His Eminem diss ultimately backfired, and the fact Eminem didn't think it was worth responding to was a bigger sucker punch than making a good diss back. This situation is completely different. Benzino ain't got no album, and I don't think he's even get any illusions of album success. The situation is so very different. I don't think Eminem will walk away until he feels like he's had the last laugh. So I expect there to be a song. I expect it to be called The Funeral, which follows on from Nail in the Coffin. And I would expect it to be good. It has to be good. So good that you can walk away and not waste any more time going back and forth, because it seems Benzino now has at least one quality ghostwriter on his books. And it would be very silly if you threw away a battle that you won 20 years ago. So he needs to make a song, he needs to make it good, and of course he has the ability to do just that. It's actually mental that we're even talking about an Eminem versus Benzino beef in 2024. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. It's quite nostalgic, isn't it? But yeah, what's your thoughts? Does Eminem even need to respond? Do you think Benzino used a ghostwriter? Is it possible to diss a man again that you've already dissed multiple times already and keep it fresh? And that's the tricky part. Everything's been said before by Eminem, and Benzino isn't really interesting enough to keep going at. And there is also a very good chance that Eminem already has a song ready to go, and that Lyrical Lemonade was a ploy to get Benzino back on the mic so he could eviscerate him again. It could be that. It could be something to do with the Busta Rhymes stuff. It could be planned this way. It could be a publicity stunt. It could all be staged. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.